See, whenever our mother cooks food inside the kitchen, what happens? The aroma of the food, it gets spread throughout our house. So what can you imagine? Like, can you guess what is the reason behind it? See what happens. The food particles, it mixes with air, and thus the aroma, it gets spreaded throughout our house. So what is diffusion? Diffusion is actually the movement of gaseous particles, movement of gaseous particles from higher concentration to lower concentration. So from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration. This is diffusion. You must have studied this diffusion in your junior classes. And diffusion, it's not like that diffusion can only take place in gases. It can also take place in solids and liquids. But in this chapter we are only studying about gases. So in this we are only studying about gases. So we'll talk only about gases. And one process is effusion. There is one process called diffusion and another process is effusion. Effusion is very similar to diffusion. Now what happens? Suppose this is a chamber, and if these gaseous particles from this chamber are going into this chamber, the hole is a big hole, right? Then it's diffusion. But if in between the chambers the hole is a tiny hole, or yes, then what happens? This effusion. So effusion is very similar to diffusion. The only difference is about the size, right? Now what happens here is, what you have to remember is rate of diffusion. Rate of diffusion, that is R, is inversely proportional to the molecular mass. Rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to the molecular mass. For example, if we have a big gas particle, and we have a small gas particle, a big gas particle has a more tendency to get diffused, whereas a small gaseous particles, it won't be able to diffuse, because a big gas particles, because its molecular mass is high, it's heavy in nature, therefore the rate of diffusion will be less. But small molecules, it will show random movement, it will quickly move here and there. So rate of diffusion is high in case of smaller particles, right? Next we have is, see, we have to discuss two cases in this. Case 1 is when rate of diffusion only depends on the molecular mass, that is, it's inversely proportional to the molecular mass. Then what happens? R1 upon R2 is equals to under root of M2 by M1. This is the formula that you have to use. And we know that what is density? Density is equals to Pm upon RT. So density is also directly proportional to the molar mass. Therefore, R1 upon R2 is equals to under root of D2 by D1. So these are the two formulas that you have to use. And firstly, we'll do numericals on this formula. See, 20 ml of helium diffused in 5 seconds. Find the volume of oxygen diffused in 10 seconds through small hole under similar conditions of temperature and pressure. Now what happens? We know that rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to the molecular mass, right? But here they have 20 ml. Like here we have to take rate in terms of V by T, right? In this much time, right? In this much time has taken place. The rate of diffusion means this much time has taken, a gas has taken this much of time to get diffused in this much volume of cylinder or volume of room. So R1 upon R2, like helium, we can say R helium upon RO2 is equals to under root of molecular mass of O2 upon molecular mass of helium. So R helium is volume helium 20 upon time is 5. Volume of O2 we have to find out. Time is 10 seconds. Molecular mass of oxygen is 32 and helium is 4 means 16, right? So under root of 16 is 4. It will also be 4. So 4 is equals to V2. This is 4 4 8s are 32. Sorry, this is 4 8s are, so it will be 2 root 2, right? V2 by 10 into 2 root 2. So the V2 will be actually 20 by root 2 ml, right? So this is how you have to calculate. Next we have 24 gram of hydrogen gas diffuses in 5 seconds. Find the mass of oxygen diffused in 10 seconds through the same hole. Now instead of giving us the volume, they have given us the number of moles. So here rate it will be number of moles upon time. So hydrogen is 24 upon, what is the mass of hydrogen? H2. The mass will be 2 gram. Yes, upon T1. T1 is 5 seconds. Upon mass of O2 we have to calculate. Mass X upon 32. Time is 10 seconds is equals to under root of molar mass is 32 by 4. 16. So it will be 4. It will be 12 by 5 is equals to 4 into X by 32 into 10, right? So you can simply find out the value of X, and on solving this you will get X is equals to 192 gram, right? I hope this is clear to you. Next what we have to do is, next question, like see, if in exam they will give you some question like this, cylinder, right? This is a cylinder and this is a hole. First hole, second hole. Suppose from this hole HCl gas is moving in, and from this hole NH3 gas is moving inside. So you have to tell, suppose this is A, distance A, distance B, distance C. So your question is, and the cylinder, the length is 2 meters. So your question is that when this NH3 gas and HCl gas then mixes, what happens? White dense fumes of NH4Cl are formed. So the question here is that at what distance the first white dense fume will be formed? At position A, B or C, or everywhere you will be able to see the white dense fumes. So how will you calculate? See, rate of diffusion we know inversely proportional to molecular mass. The molecular mass of NH3 is nitrogen 14 and 317 gram, and here it's 36.5. Since the molecular mass of ammonia is less, so its rate of diffusion is more, that is it will move faster. So you will at point C, the first drop, the first, you can say, gas, the first dense fume of NH3 will be observed at NH4Cl will be observed at point C. Now let's change our question a little bit, and suppose now this time they'll ask we know that we know that the first fume will observe at point C, but now they are asking at, suppose this is X, this is Y. So they are asking at what distance from X you will observe the first fume. So suppose this distance is D and this distance is 2 minus D, rate of diffusion. Now this time you have to take rate of diffusion in distance upon time, distance by time. So see, D upon, suppose time T is equals to, for ammonia, upon 2 minus D upon time. So it will be actually under root of 36 mass of HCl, 36.5 upon 17. On solving this T and T can get cancelled. The distance will be actually 1.2 meter. You just have to solve this under root. It will come out. On solving this, you will get the distance 1.2 meter. See, this distance is half, and we know it will be definitely more than 1. The distance will definitely be more than 1. So by solving this under root, square root, you will get your answer. Next we have case 2. When the rate of diffusion not only depends just on mass but also on pressure. This is your formula, second formula. So R1 upon R2 is equals to P1 upon P2 under root of M2 by M1. Next we have kinetic theory of gases. What is kinetic theory of gases? See, kinetic theory of gases is molecules of the same gas, they are identical. Molecules of the same gas are identical in all the respects. Means whether you take mass, whether you take shape, whether you take size, they're identical in all the respects. Molecules, they are constantly moving along a straight line. For example, if a molecule is having a speed of u, so this u can be calculated by its motion along x-axis, its motion along y-axis, and its motion along z-axis, right? Next, all the collisions of the gaseous molecules among themselves and with the walls of the container are elastic in nature. That all the collisions that are taking place will be elastic in nature. Now, what does it mean? It means there is no loss of kinetic energy or momentum, or you can say kinetic energy and momentum, they both are conserved. You will study about this elastic motions in detail in your physics classes. Next, we have the pressure of gas is due to the collisions of molecules with the walls of the container. For example, like I've told you earlier also, this molecule, it will actually collide with the wall and bounce back. Now, while colliding, it's actually applying some force on this area, that is per unit area, and this force per unit area is nothing but pressure. So the pressure of the gas is due to the collision of molecules with the walls of the container. And we know that fourth point, the kinetic energy of the gas, it depends only and only on temperature. The volume occupied by gaseous molecules is negligible when compared with the total volume of gas. Now what does it mean? Suppose this gas is present in this room. So the volume occupied by the gas is actually equal to the total volume of the room. But now, if we apply some pressure and if you compact these molecules, so these molecules will come and sit in a particular place. So they are saying that volume occupied by these gaseous molecules is actually negligible when compared to the total volume of the gas. See, in reality, if you study this postulate, it's not correct. But this was actually the assumption of kinetic theory of gases. So we have to take it as it's right. Okay. Next, we have there is no intermolecular force of attraction among the molecules. That is why whenever we keep a gas or we fill gas in a container, what happens? Gas has a tendency to expand because intermolecular forces of attraction are not present. So they will move away from each other. Gravity is neglected. For example, like if I'm throwing this pen, what happened? After like this pen will fall down due to gravity. But gaseous molecules, they are so light that gravity is neglected. That is why we said gaseous molecules, they travel in a straight line. Next, we have the kinetic gas equation. Now, what is this kinetic gas equation? See, we know that we have n number of gaseous molecules present. Suppose these are the gaseous molecules which are present. Speed of first is u1, u2, u3 and u4 and so on. So if we want to calculate the root mean square velocity URMS, it's actually under root of u1 square plus u2 square plus u3 square and so on upon n. So this is RMS velocity. So kinetic energy equation is PV is equals to 1 upon 3 m, mass of one molecule of gas into n number of molecules into URMS square. This PV is equals to 1 upon 3 mn URMS square. Right? If you want to calculate the value of kinetic energy of n moles of gas, it is equals to 3 by 2 nRT. Yes. And if you want to calculate the kinetic energy for one molecule of gas, if in exam they simply ask you kinetic energy for one molecule of gas, for one molecule, you must have studied in mole concept also. For 1 mole of gas we have Avogadro's number, but for one molecule means n is 1, so 3 by 2 RT upon Avogadro's number, and this R upon A is actually nothing but Kb, that is Boltzmann constant. This is Boltzmann, a new constant, and you have to remember its value. So it will become the kinetic energy for one molecule. The formula will be 3 by 2 kBt, and the value of Kb is Boltzmann constant is 1.38 into 10 to the power minus 23 joule per Kelvin. Next we have find the kinetic energy of 8 gram of methane at temperature 27 degrees Celsius. So what is the formula for kinetic energy? 3 by 2 nRT, right? So it will be number of moles. What is the number of moles? Methane 8 upon 16. What is the value of R? 0.0821, and T temperature is 27 degrees, that is 300 Kelvin. So on solving this, you'll get the value of kinetic energy in joules. Next we have find the kinetic energy of one molecule. This time you have to calculate one molecule at temperature 127 means 400 Kelvin. So kinetic energy for one molecule is 3 by 2 kBt. Yes, so it will be 3 by 2 kb. What is the value of kb? 1.38 into 10 to the power minus 23 into 400. So on solving this, you will get the answer in joules. Right? I hope this is clear to you. It's very simple numericals. And believe me, such questions come in exam. Now, a little bit change in the question. Find the kinetic energy, change in kinetic energy of 1 mole of ideal gas when the temperature changes by 25 degrees Celsius. What does it mean? Kinetic energy is 3 by 2 nRT. This is our initial kinetic energy, right? This is first. And we have to find a change when the temperature changes by 50 degrees Celsius. This is T plus 50. And N means, what does it N means? N means 1 mole. So N will remain as it is. So change in kinetic energy, that is delta kinetic energy, will be 3 by 2 R T plus 50 minus T. This gets cancelled, and we will finally get 3 by 2 0.0821 into 50 joules. This is our answer. Clear? I hope this is clear to you. Now next we have to study the different kinds of velocities of gaseous molecules. Now what are the different types of velocities? The first velocity that you have to study here is most probable velocity. Now what is this most probable velocity? Most probable, that is MP, VMP. See this formula, VMP is most probable velocity is under root of 2 RT by M. Second is remember one thing, most probable velocity means under root of 2 RT by M. What does it mean? That the most probable, like we know that there are so many gaseous molecules present around, so this is that velocity of all the gases. Like this is most probable velocity, which means this is that velocity which will be shown by maximum number of gaseous molecules. Second, we have average velocity. That is V average. It will be 8 under root of 8 pi under root of 8 RT by pi M. under root of 8. Third type of velocity, average, most probable. Then we have root mean, RMS square, RMS we call it, root mean square velocity. Root mean square velocity, RMS. So VRMS is equals to under root of 3RT by M. So you have to remember these three formulas. Now the easiest way, most probable, is the only difference is RT by M. You have RT by M in all the every case you have RT by M, right? So what you can do here is simply just most probable, like root 2. Average, we have root 8 by pi, and root mean square velocity is root 3. So these are the values you have to remember. Next we have, see, this most probable velocity, then we have average. You have to remember their order also, and the maximum velocity is of RMS. Yes, its value is root 2, its value is root 8 by pi, and its value is root 3. So these are these values you have to remember. Next we have, find the RMS velocity at 25 degrees Celsius. So VRMS, simply, what is the formula? 3RT by M. 3RT by M. So 3 into, see, remember, we know that the value of R is 8.314, but for simplicity we can put it at 25 by 3, just so to make our calculations easy. Into temperature is 300 Kelvin, and molecular mass of oxygen, we know that it's 32, but again for simplicity let's assume it 30. This gets cancelled, into 10 to the power minus 3 kg, right? This get cancelled, so we'll have under root of 5 into 10 to the power 25 into 10 to the power 4, that is 500 meter per second. Yes, I hope this much is clear to you. Now next we have, at what temperature the RMS speed of methane molecule will be similar to that of RMS speed of hydrogen molecule. Now RMS form is actually 3RT by M, or you can say T by M. So simply T1 upon M1 is under root of T1 upon M1 is equal to under root of T2 by M2, because their RMS speeds are same. Now at what temperature the RMS of, if I square it, temperature, methane molecule will be same. Molecular mass of methane is 16, temperature is 400, and molecular mass of hydrogen is 4. So it will come out to be 1600 Kelvin. Just you have to see which terms are variable and which terms are constant. By just simply equating, you will get the answer. Next we have, Maxwell distribution law. So what is Maxwell distribution law? According to the Maxwell distribution law, what happens if we draw a graph of like fraction of molecules versus speed, what happens? Like this. So yes, and this will also go on like this. Right, now what happens in this case is, if you see a very less fraction of molecules has very low speed, and a very low fraction of molecules has very high speed. And if you see this, the peak of the curve means these are the fraction of molecules which has a large number of, the speed is low, but a large number of molecules have this speed. So we call this speed as the most probable speed. Now if somebody asks you, one is most probable speed, one is average speed, and one is RMS speed. So this is VMP, we know that. Now suppose this is V2, this is V3. Now tell me which one is V2 and which one is V3. V average and VRS. We know that, suppose VMP is V1, we know that. The peak of the curve, it's VMP. But which one is V2 and V3? How will you do? we have just studied the relation between the three, that Vrms is maximum speed, then we have average, and at the last we have most probable. So this is the maximum speed V3. So V3 is the Vrms and V average is V2. So this is how we have to solve this question. Suppose I have another question for you. Like, suppose we have fraction of molecules versus speed fraction of molecules versus speed. Now here, suppose these are the two graphs that you have to study. Right? These are the two graphs. Suppose this is MA mass A, this is mass B. Now tell me, is mass A greater than mass B? Mass B greater than mass A? Or both the masses are equal? Or none? None. Means you cannot find out. So how will you calculate? See, we know that V average, V most probable velocity, by using this. This is the most probable velocity of A. Yes, this is VA, and this is the most probable velocity of B. So VB is higher than VA. Yes. And what is the formula of most probable velocity? Under root of 2 RT by M. And we know that most probable velocity is inversely proportional to mass. Yes, so the most probable velocity is higher of B, right? So mass will be lower. So the correct answer is option A. Mass of A is greater because velocity of B is greater. So mass of A is greater. Suppose we have another last question for the day. Suppose now instead of mass, we have same graph dn by n upon versus speed. Similar graph. Now suppose here we have one graph this, and third graph this. Now suppose one is T1 temperature, one is T2 and T3. Now tell me which of the temperatures is maximum. Again, this is VMP1, VMP2, VMP3. We know that this speed is maximum and most probable speed is under root of 2 RT by M. So most probable speed is directly proportional to temperature. So T3, the most probable speed of T3 is maximum. Therefore T3, T2 and T1. And such questions do come in exams. So prepare well for such questions.